Hey guys, back with the Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 60. Missed last week, sorry about that, but came back with a banger. I'm just hyped, excited. We just cleared Lotus. I don't even know how. A bit unexpected, to be honest. Not completely surprising. Before we ran, we saw that a few Asia teams cleared, and to be honest, I thought we had a chance. Like, if anything, we cleared Damien just as fast as any of those Asia teams. Mechanically, we're probably one of the best teams in the world. And I thought we learned quite a bit from the Asia clear, so definitely appreciate them for clearing. Congrats to them for clearing. But excited for our team, man. We had the Truffalocks gang carrying us. Truffalocks X, Truffalocks E, Edward, the Nightwalker. Just two hard carries, pretty much. Neon Paladin. We had Knuckle. Shade, you'll see his point of view. I'll link in the description. I'm sure Edward, I'm sure Truffalocks will post their point of views as well. I'll post my point of view in the description below, just with some voiceover, talking about what we did, things that we helped us clear. Shani, Warren, the Sia, kind of carried us as well. Low-key underrated Copy, the Phantom, Arandi, Witching Hour, and Andy Rue, Wind Archer. Gang just killed it. We cleared in sub 7:30. I think faster than our Damien clears. We're about the same, but much less stressful. Somehow a little too easy, almost. I was quite optimistic. And we'll go through the patch notes here in a little bit, but I just gotta talk about, man, like, coming from Damien, coming from even Lotus, where we had a hard time phase one, this was completely opposite. Phase one was a breeze. We cleared that thing in less than 60 seconds. We just stood there and DPS'd and just powered brute forced it through. And we're gonna talk about some of the Lucid changes that is different than any other boss we've ever seen. Why the good things, why I think it's actually bad and kind of worse for the game overall. But man, I just had to spend a few minutes just talking about the clear. Crazy, much a stress reliever. I'm sure there's something that's going to be patched tomorrow that may, something was bugged or something was not right, because things weren't hitting the same. Maybe that's what they intended. Things just weren't one-shotting like we expected, but we cleared so fast that I still believe that we cleared anyways, just with improvements to mechanics. We didn't even play a smooth run at all, and so we can only get better. And even if there are some things that can be changed, we'll clear it anyways, and I'm 100% confident in that. But I'm excited for more teams to clear it. I think the biggest issue obviously is levels and arcane power. It's very unfortunate, but yeah, it's pretty sweet. The Dreamy Belt, how we're going to be able to attempt to craft that, much different than KMSM. We'll dive into the patch notes. There's a lot going on, a lot to get hyped about. Even Blasters got a buff or fix, hopefully, rebalance. Paladin's got a nerf. We'll talk about all of it. Just wanted to start off with Lucid, clear, check it out. Show some love to a lot of the people on the team for showing their point of views and stuff like that. Job well done. But I'll be right back and let's talk in the patch notes. March update, Commander Lucid, Morris. Haste event, around the road with Mio. Let's get it, man. This is, so the first thing about Lucid, if you guys don't know, is the first boss with this arcane force, arcane power benefit, right? And the patch notes, it doesn't say it, or it does say, of at least 660 is for best results. But in game, if you click on this right here, this little button, it's going to show you 100% what your damage is going to be depending on your arcane power level and how much damage reduction you're going to do, or even what bonus you can get. So for a lot of us, we are Obviously, minimum was 660 arcane power, but a lot of us got up to 130, 120%. So we got more cap, more power, and it really showed in these runs. And so 7th Commander, once per week, revives, all these things. And there's an interesting little tidbit here. If you fail to defeat the boss within 45 seconds of phase 3 starting, you'll fail to conquer the dungeon. So a little bit of a berserk timer, kind of a DPS check, burst check at the end. Just stand there and DPS. We had no problems with it. And so Lucid skills. So when watching KMSM, this is identical. This flower explosion is identical to the slashes in Damien. It hit much less. In Damien, it's a one shot. Here, it hit like 57k. So immediately we were just like, this is gonna be different, right? Didn't even know if it was a bug or whatnot. It was just different. Summon butterflies. Deal normal damage to the characters they hit. Golems. Basically adds on the ground. Basically hit by the attack. If you get hit by it, you're knocked back. And if you cannot pass through it. I think if you pass through it, if you jump over a golem, your character will take no more damage. Power. I think if you jump through it, you die. Or it hits really hard. Pretty sure you die. So phase 1, yeah. So it's a random spot, so you just have to be aware of it. We kind of just cleaved it down, didn't even pay attention to it. We had really good AoE, but it did kill some of us in awkward times just because it landed on someone randomly. Mushrooms, move around, deal damage, just adds, we cleaved them down. This one was another one we were worried about. We called it the wave, it's a crescent moon, whatever it is, fairy dust. It didn't hit hard at all. In KMSM, it hit about 120k, and in previous bosses, a lot of those fixed damages in KMSM, for like Damien, it translated to our game. And this one hit like a, what do we know, honestly, 57k each crescent. Now, it could stack. It did pierce through people. You couldn't really block it, per se. But it was definitely more manageable, especially with our HP pools. We had some issue, but nothing significant. Once we used to use iframes and things like that, knew when it was coming, because you could see it kind of do this animation first, and then iframes, easy, stand away from the boss, have time to react to it. We were just fine. Force teleport towards her wasn't that big of a deal. This bomb one, we ran into it once, to be honest, in phase 2. Phase 1, the nice thing was it's HP scaling damage. And so all you had to do was really stack up. So the damage debuff is reduced by proportion to the number of party members near you. Basically, we all stacked up, let it count down. We took no damage, it did nothing. Summon Dragon, another one shot that we thought was going to happen from KMSM, did not one shot. It hit about 190k. It was obviously a ticking damage for 190k. I actually died to it. But surprisingly, it wasn't hitting like 999k. Hourglass saved us. Sia carries us like always. It's just OP. Arcia is probably is one of the best in the game. He's insane. He really carries us, and it goes unnoticed. Now this is phase 2. Dragon lasers. We ran into it once. We just used iframes. I think it hit like. I think they were saying it hit. It wasn't a one shot as well, maybe 190k or something. So there is an HP, I guess, limit, threshold, minimum and stuff like that. But for the most part, these were, you could reduce it with iframes, you could dodge it, things like that. Charge. This was the big one that actually gave us a hard time on the first run, because it was kind of hard to pick up if we didn't know what the skill rotation was. But once we figured out the rotation, it was easy peasy. We preemptively knew when to move. It teleported to the middle platform first, and then it turned red, and then it went in either a clockwise or counterclockwise direction across the map, and it did 130k. So it was kind of ticking. It wasn't an instant one shot, but if you got hit more than once, you would die. So that one gave us trouble in the first run. Once we figured out when it was coming and called it out, it was easy peasy. You'll see in my Lucid run, I literally just jump off the map to avoid it. I wanted no part of it. And this one, this is was supposed to be sort of the big one-shot mechanic in Lucid, and we literally just ripped right through it. So the mechanic states that butterflies, right, the butterflies that spawn across the map after a certain amount of time, if you get to too many butterflies on the map, it's going to one-shot you. It's just going to wipe the entire team. And we did not run into that at all in the phase 2. And basically, you can cleanse it similar to Damien altars. You can just, but you just need one person to cleanse it. And the way we cleansed it is, so it says here, it can be removed by activating the trumpet statues somewhere on the left and right side of the map. So there's 2 trumpets. Trumpet statues available, activations increase by 1 whenever Lucid's HP decreased by 10% up to 4 stacks. So essentially, you have to do 10% damage in a certain amount of time, or else the butterflies are going to overwhelm you and you're going to die, right? So first you need a certain amount of DPS to get 10%, and then you have someone on the statue to cleanse it before the butterflies one-shot you, right? So we saw that these diamonds is kind of the indicator of how much activations they are, right? And so they would just populate, and all we did was have our bishop stand on it. We really kept it simple. We learned, like, I don't want to say I took credit for this, but I just learned from the first Asia clear, literally hours before us. They posted their streams or their POV, so shout out to them. They just had their bishop stand on it, cleanse it 100% of the time, not do any damage, not do any other thing. That was their role and job. Worked out great for us. We had plenty of DPS, so we'll take it. Yeah, this is what he said. Butterfly Swarm, instant 1 kill. Instant 1 kill. Can't, iframes, nothing, can't work. So that's what that is. So this is basically all of these next skills. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so there's like the butterfly effect where they're, yeah. So she absorbs all the butterflies. She's invincible to all attacks during this time. Yeah, basically this was the part where we flew up into the right corner. Again, we learned this from that first clear, and we just avoided all the projectiles that spawned. So we're flying around, just dodge it, kind of like a mini game. You'll see in my point of view, I had to dodge everything, but yeah, pretty straightforward. We just stood at the right corner, just easy spot to not get hit. And this was what worried me the most. We really went into it thinking that our bishop would be full support, and as well as our Sia with the hourglass skill, which is basically a heaven's door, 100% uptime, and we still died, but this wasn't as impactful as I thought it was. I thought it was a bug, but this damage reduction, physical damage reduction, and magic damage reduction by 100%. I initially took it as you're basically going to do no damage. That wasn't the case. We actually powered right through it. People died. We were still chunking it down. So 30 seconds is a long time. So I was a little bit worried about this, but when it actually came to fruition during the boss, it was pretty straightforward. We powered through it, and it was not a big deal at all. And then this one was pretty interesting. Upon destroying the music box, the item drop rate increase stat is applied. So there's a music box after you clear Lucid. You can get an increased chance of drops. Be aware of that. That's nice. Pretty cool. Pretty cool mechanic there. Lucid, obviously, all the set bonuses stuff, the Lucid skills, things like that. That's Lucid. I would say there may be some teams that can clear Lucid before they clear hard Damien. It's actually possible and won't be surprising. Damien mechanically is that much more challenging. Lucid, you'll see. It's rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. As long as you can jump and dodge and get onto platforms and get uptime, stun accordingly, and you're pretty decently geared with levels, you should be able to clear. Like for example, my PR in Damien is around high 60s bill DPM. This one I did 80 plus. 80 plus didn't even play well. Yeah, it's insane. So definitely the DPS numbers in Lucid should be higher than they are in Damien, hard Damien for sure. So that's Lucid. I'll talk about it more, try to get some more guides, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Our team really picked up on it very quickly. Chaos Belt, here we go. This is the reward for Lucid, right? The one belt, Chaos Dreamy. Similar, everyone was worried KMSM was going to be a drop. Everyone, maybe they're excited, maybe they were worried. It ended up being just like any other Absolab Chaos item in our game. GMSM is just different. We just have to accept it. It's not KMSM. Unfortunately, maybe fortunately, but same process, right? So this is all the same. Since there's no inherent belts, straight 30% for any belt into the Chaos belt of whatever your base is, and then obviously Absolab or Dreamy belt 10%. If you have a Necro, 5% from Chaos to Dreamy. So keep that in mind. Tough. Yeah, exciting. So every 3 runs, 2 weeks, we're gonna get our first attempt. Pretty stoked about it. Pretty stoked about hype. Yeah, this is all basically saying it's the same thing. You know, you can read into that. Not a big deal. Stats, pretty nice. Drop rate 8%. Not bad. Crit rate 5%. Sheesh. And then the max damage cap obviously is the main one. Level 50 is 1 mil for the Chaos belt, and then 2 mil for Dreamy, and then obviously Insane up to 60. So it's a big jump, right? It's a big jump. But very similar to any other Absolab piece. It has its own set bonus. This is not it. This is it. It has its own set bonus. So level 1, 200 more cap. That's pretty nice. And then obviously all this stuff is pretty minor. Pretty minor, pretty underwhelming. But 200k cap is 200k cap. Second thing on the patch, blaster adjustments. Not gonna lie, foreign language to me. Blaster is too big brain for me, but I'm hearing that it's a little different. Hammer Smash seems to be the new kind of got the biggest impact. I'm not sure, but yeah, it seems like hopefully it's better. Can't be much worse than what it previously was. But yeah, pretty cool that they gave them their own separate rework, right? They were trying to fix it, which is good, right? The blasters have been complaining for a while. They've been bugged. It's good they're at least giving them the time of day, and they're giving it to them separate than the other rebalances, other fixes. They're trying to get to it, you know, put it out there, I guess, ASAP or as soon as they could make some changes. So hopefully it's good enough or something. Hopefully there's more to come, and the blaster mains can enjoy their class once again. Bossing set accessories. We'll take a break a little bit and then we'll come back, talk about these little quality of life changes. Not bad. All right, bossing accessory changes, bonuses, improvements. The main thing I looked at was these total values, right? So you get boss attack, extra boss attack here, 4 set, boss attack there, 5 set. So boss attack adds up. You know, you can get quite a bit of boss attack. That's pretty nice. And then at 7 set, exactly the same. Yeah. So it's all the lower boss set accessories. Not bad. Maybe. So what I'm thinking and hoping, eventually what happens is they add 2 more slots to ring. I think in PC they have more ring slots, necklace slots, things like that. So continue to do your chaos bosses. Continue to just do your dailies. They may not go away. There's an emphasis of that. There's value for these accessories. That's all I can say, right? Magnus Pendant. Adding HP. The reason why I didn't Star Force up my pendant, because they didn't give HP. Now they're doing it. This, not that big of a deal, but this one will take the HP, right? A little surprising they didn't give the no full the Vonleon ring HP as well. They just forget about it. The pocket, they just forget about it. Give us more HP. Just send it over. I don't understand. What's the difference between this and that? Just HP. We're gonna need it. We're gonna need it. More ass. My favorite region. Another symbol. We'll take it. More physical attack, more arcane power. If you haven't watched my videos, if you haven't watched that video where I talk about how important levels are, this is Nexon emphasizing how important leveling is. And I'm going to talk about right here. This is kind of the good and the bad about leveling, the good and the bad about Lucid, right? And so I'm going to go back to the Arcane, to the Lucid, about the 660, right? And 660, you have to be, so basically you have to be level 235, 236 plus to even reach that minimum, right? And the pros of this is you are rewarding consistency, rewarding your longtime players, your OGs, your people that stick to their one class, that have been doing auto battle, leveling and grinding, playing that part of the game. They are getting rewarded, finally separating themselves, doing more damage, getting more cap for being a certain level, for doing their dailies, their symbols, for leveling, getting experience, right? Levels matter, arguably more than ever. Arguably, we proved it when Fog Training On came out. Levels impact damage, right? The downside of it, the con and the unfortunate part is, yes, you're rewarding the OG players, but newer players, newer whales, people that are trying to re-roll, people that are playing the newer classes are just so far behind. They just cannot do endgame content. They just cannot catch up. That's unfortunate, right? It's the downside. But there should be some sort of method for them to, I mean, yes, leveling is easier than it's ever been with all the resources to get to 300% and things like that. It's easy, but it's still time gated. Symbols are still time gated, right? You can only get so many symbols at a time, right? Time gated stuff. Pros and cons, right? I'm not saying one is better than the other, but we had someone in our Damien team that focused on Legion. He was top 5 in Legion. He was like almost 9,000 or 9,000 plus, whatever it is, in Legion. But he didn't level up his main. He had multiple mains and multiple ults. He didn't have enough arcane power. He didn't have enough levels on his main to do Lucid. He had the gear, he had everything, he had the mechanics. He was grinding with us from Hard Damien, but he's stunted by this. Another one, we have Paladins who we rolled, newer Paladins that played, who were clearing Hard Damien, who are insane DPSers, who are very strong, very geared, handicapped by levels, right? Some are like in the 220s, some are in 230s, not 235, and they've been leveling, they've been playing, but maybe they emphasize Legion because Legion was a huge factor to get cap, right? It's another part of the game that was emphasized. You can't do both, right? You can't do Legion and you can't level up your main, and entire teams are getting screwed, for lack of a better word, because of this, because it's a Paladin, right? Paladins are huge, good DPSers. It's a good DPSer, it's a support class. They're hard to come by. Maybe same for a Sia, maybe same for a Bishop. It's unfortunate, right? That some of the best, some teams are just I think I'm the only Paladin in our server that has enough arcane force and enough gear to do 100% damage in Lucid, have enough arcane power. It's just unfortunate, right? Now maybe some teams are like, we can do without it, right? You can overcompensate. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, but it's just something to think about. And it's just time gating. You hashtag can't buy levels. If for those like guys that get it, you just can't buy levels, right? You can't buy arcane power, you can't buy arcane symbols. So I'm curious, like, it just makes me want to emphasize the ability to re-roll transfer completely, right? The levels, the arcane power, maybe that's huge, but you still have to get to that level 235 to access those symbols, right? Like, they should allow some sort of reroll transfer, right? Maybe not for new classes, the brand new classes. Maybe there has to be like a, I don't know, some sort of 1 year gap or something like that, right? Wanting players to experience, you know, the leveling of the new player. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe even more so, they should allow for you to reroll 2 newer classes, like allowing Adele's to get Lucid. Arcia just got the 235. That class came out last year, literally just a year ago. Just made the cut, right? So I hope they keep that in mind. I hope they're thinking about that stuff, because like, it's really frustrating a lot of teams. It's handicapping teams from wanting to do content, from being able to do one but not the other, because of this time gated issue, right? I get it. It benefits us. I have no power. I have no issues with the arcane power. Our team doesn't. We worked around it, right? We found players to fill in, but that doesn't make it okay for the rest of the population, right? The free-to-play players, the middle-tier whales, even the teams that are playing hard Damien that just don't have, have one player that doesn't make the cut. So just something to think about. I thought it was very important that this just brought made me think about who was benefiting, but who was also getting punished. And if we're trying to expand the game, if we're trying to get more players to play, if we're trying to get newer players to play, one of the biggest reasons why veteran Maplers to mobile may not tell their friends to play, one of the biggest reasons is because of how hard it is to catch up, how hard it is to for newer players to get to certain points, and this is just another one, right? Even the newest whales, the biggest whales that will invest are just handicapped, time gated. So something to think about, something that really came to my mind during this whole Lucid thing and the Arcane Force. I hope they make some sort of change to that in the near future. They have something in mind, right? But more S. New area, new map, new mobs, more XP, more symbols, drops, things like that. We'll take it. Love to see it. Haste events, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Do it. Get your rewards, get your free stuff, get your auto battle, all this stuff. Pull, like, if you played, like, these are all rinse and repeat. Very, very easy, very, very simple. Kind of time consuming, right? This one's pretty fun. I like the hammer animation, Paladin life. But Inferno, yeah. Nothing crazy here. I just like to look at these titles. 5% boss attack title, not too bad. Always love the EXP titles. Laser blade damage skin, kind of want to see what that looks like. Another hologram. Metal, good metal. 4% physical damage, might be the best in slot for 30 days, probably. And then Meal, big dub, love to see it, get it. Oh, I think it starts on a Friday, so not on this first day. Yeah, Friday, Friday. So make sure you get it, especially on those weekends. You gotta get those 2 times damage skin. The mountain is pretty sweet, pretty sick. That was awesome. Gapple events. Yeah, this looks like it. So, patch, crazy, Lucid, big dub, cleared it somehow. Excited about that, got me pumped. It's kind of late for me here, so I'm not going to edit this video too much, just kind of raw in duration. But yeah, there's some bug fixes here, other improvements. What stood out? Oh yeah, Paladin's got nerfed, which you can do. Yeah, some of these, yeah, so duplicate nodes, that was kind of an emphasis in some of them. That's what, arcane power, or meso rates, rip, arcane power fields, the Arcana region, we're just dropping insane amounts of mesos. That is not the case anymore. Divine Echo, some situations, not really too big of a deal. I looked through those. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Blasters, obviously, you got the changes, some of these stuff. Advanced Dash, I don't think that was big of a deal. Paladin, we lost 20% final damage to Divine Judgment, 20% crit damage to Paladin. To that one skill. It's our third biggest skill, 11%, 11% of our passive lines. I don't know. It's an impact, right? For sure. No one likes to see skill percent go away without getting more lines, but yeah, very, very strange. Kind of one of those shadow nerfs. Yeah, you know, Nexon. But yeah, I kind of looked at this. This was nothing crazy. Yeah, that's it. Patch notes. Check out the Lucid Clear video. Hype for that. Posted it. Even posted that, you know, in my description for that video. I got all the other POVs, the Shade, Knuckle, Truffle Lock, X. His POV is up. I'm sure more people will put the POVs, but I'll be back next week. Trying to, you know, just missed last week. Sorry about that, but I'll be back. Excited. I tried to get guests. Things happened on my end, on their end. Timing just didn't work, but I'm trying to get more guests. Sickness nights. Try to get them back. Get more people's opinions. Help you guys out. You guys really enjoyed those. I really enjoyed those as well. So hopefully soon. If not, thank you for watching. Thank you for support and everything. I'll see you guys next time.